So Becky became a double champion at WrestleMania 35. She pinned Ronda Rousey. She won both the Raw, SmackDown titles. Became the first woman to do that. Everybody knows the story, right? So we all know that, well, I think we can not know, but agree, and should know actually, that Becky becoming a double champion was actually really pointless. She deserved to win the main event, but it should not have been for both titles. It should have just been for the Raw Women's Championship. Because why? What was the reason? Because and on top of that, when she became a double champion, WWE didn't even use it as like a to the Becky two belts double champion. They didn't use that to its full potential because Becky lost one of her titles in a month, only for the person who she lost it to, that being Charlotte Flair, to lose that title in 5 minutes. And it was just like, what was the point if y'all were gonna? I don't know. Like, I understand the long-term storytelling they were trying to like put out there, I guess, between Becky and Charlotte. But to me personally, I feel like that was so unneeded because number one, why did Charlotte even winning the SmackDown Women's Championship from Asuka and then carrying it to WrestleMania 35, to me that was stupid and pointless. I don't care if she was Beyonce. Why is she? No, she didn't need to do that. And that was a robbed opportunity for the SmackDown women as a whole, and having the SmackDown Women's Championship being defended on a pay-per-view, because Asuka losing that title on a random SmackDown right before WrestleMania, she had no defenses on pay-per-view but at Fastlane against Mandy Rose, of all people. So it's like, why not give Asuka that opportunity? She was already somewhat of a fighting champion. She was already having good matches, and she won the title in the first ever women's TLC match. Why is she losing to Charlotte a week before WrestleMania 35? And Charlotte is only going to hold this title for like 13 days just to put Becky over, and she's not even getting pinned. It's just stupid. It was ridiculous. And on top of that, when Becky did win, she won by roll-up, and it wasn't the cleanest roll-up, and it was botched. So I don't know why they had Becky win by roll-up when they could have just had her pin Ronda clean. And it was a triple threat match, so it's not like, oh, like it was clean. It could have been not like clean. She could have just beat her stupid with some chairs, a kendo stick, put her through the table, and then pin her. Simple. And then when Becky did become a double champion, she lost the title at Money in the Bank, which is a month later, and it was to Charlotte, only for Charlotte to get cashed in on by Bayley 5 minutes or 6 or 7 minutes later. It was less than a day, less than 10 minutes. I know that. I think it was like 5, 6, or 7. I don't remember. All that booking was just so weird. 2019 was like probably one of the most questionable years for women's wrestling and wrestling in general. Because, OMG, my goodness. And Becky, I feel like they could have done more with her as a double champion, because if you guys want to build her up to be like the man and this unstoppable force, why are you having her lose one of her titles in a month span? Like, and she was already doing good. They had her booked good. She was going to be defending both of her titles at the same pay-per-view, at not the same time, but at the same pay-per-view. She had a contract signing with both opponents at the same time. All that stuff. Why not have her beat both of them clean? Lacey Evans, first of all, is a new star that they were trying to build up. And Lacey Evans can't wrestle. Lacey Evans needed to go back down to NXT. And she wasn't, nobody really knew her. She wasn't really a somebody yet. So Becky beating her should have been no issue. Charlotte and Becky have, a long-term storytelling beef and all that. Becky could have just beat her, and then Charlotte could have gone on to be in the side view picture for a while, putting over new talents to build up stars for the upcoming SmackDown Women's Champion. Well, Becky would have been champion around that time. Whatever. Putting over people to build new stars. She could have been, like, out the title picture for a while. Because in 2018, she was in the title picture, like, the whole year. Majority of the year, Charlotte was champion or in the title picture in 2018. Her best year, argue with the wall. Like, this is what they should have did. Becky and Seth could have got cashed in on the same night. Remember Extreme Rules 2019 when Seth Rollins got cashed in on? It could have been Becky and Seth getting cashed in on, and Becky still would have been champion because she's still the Raw Women's Champion. And Bayley could have not Bayley. They should have given that to Naomi or Ember. One of them could have cashed in on Bayley. Becky. And then Brock could have cashed in on Seth later on, like a couple minutes right after Becky got cashed in on or whatever. And boom, new champions are crowned, blase, blase, whatever. That's how you book that. Not you having her win in the main event just to lose one of the titles in a month. What sense does that make? Like, to this day, it's just like, it's not even like Becky becoming a double champion. It's just the way WWE booked it. It's just like, what were y'all thinking? Like, was this a last minute thing? Were y'all just trying to give both titles just to say, yeah, we push our women, and like, yeah, this is a really big deal, or because it was the first main event? I think that's why. I think it's because it was the first main event for women. They wanted to make it as big as possible. The build-up was already good. You already have 3 of your biggest stars, but I think they were just trying to make it bigger and bigger, as big as they could, for future, storylines for women's wrestling. I don't know, but Becky 2 belts could have been better booked. Argue with your mama, not me. So my bad, y'all. Y'all heard the garage. That's so embarrassing, but I don't feel like recording this video again. So I'm just gonna continue and finish off by saying Becky Lynch shouldn't have been the first woman to hold both titles at the same time with the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship. I feel like if they were gonna give that accolade to somebody, it should have been somebody who's not a 4 Horsewomen member, a POC, but a POC who's just as good, if not better, than the 4 Horsewomen. And that person should have been Asuka. I feel like Asuka should have been the first woman to hold both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. I don't know how they could have booked it. I don't know when or where. But I feel like if Asuka became the first woman to do that, it would have been really deserved because it's Asuka. And it's just like, it makes sense because it's Asuka. But that's just me. That's my opinion. Becky as a double champion, it was really hit or miss. But it wasn't necessarily all her fault. I kind of look at this as more so she was kind of working with what she had and how they were booking her, and she was like, okay, like, they tell me to do this, I go do that. So maybe, I don't know.